was the first Iron Man, but I've often wondered if Stan Lee was frequently confused for Hugh Hefner. Because I mean, he's a guy that everybody knows. So you see an old guy and everybody's like crowded around him, and it's like,
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just not nearly as skeeved out by Stanley.
oh no, why would you be?
No.
Anyway, and Stan's still kicking.
Yeah, 212 and still.
Is he 212?
215.
Man, he doesn't look a day over 97.
Yeah.
Hi folks, welcome to Pop Up Fizzle. I'm Jeff.
I'm Heidi.
And we're here today to look at a trailer which I've seen that a lot of people have beaten us to the punch.
A lot of
here,
okay,
and that's okay. We're not in competition with anybody. We just really want to see this trailer. We're curious about the show. It's for Star Wars Resistance, which is the new animated series coming to, I think it's Disney XD. I think it's going to debut on the Disney Channel. And then it's going to show on Disney XD. Okay. That's my understanding anyway. So this is the first actual trailer. We got one little like teaser
blip
thing. Yeah, there was nothing to it. Just a little bit to show us maybe what the animation's going to look like. But it was not, it was hard to tell. So the only thing that we know about this really is that it's set after the events of Return of the Jedi, before the events
of this newest trilogy.
Yeah, why is that first movie not jumping out at me? The Force Awakens.
Yes.
Yes. The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi. And then this, and then whatever's coming, episode 9.
Yes.
Which I hear they may split into 2 episodes, and that seems weird to me.
No. Are you
That's
serious?
what I heard. Yeah.
Are you serious?
They're considering it.
That's a dumb idea.
Probably.
No, that's awful.
Almost every time that happens, one of them is really bad.
Well, and it drags.
Yeah. And it's like okay, well we didn't really need the first half of that, or we needed to cut some of that stuff.
Don't do it, Disney.
Yeah,
don't do it,
Disney.
Please don't do it.
That's just our thoughts about that anyway.
Yeah, sorry. No, let's just.
But going into this trailer, I was a fan of the Clone Wars. I'll be honest, I didn't watch it all when it was airing. I caught up with it quite a bit afterwards, and I'm fairly certain now that I've seen all of the episodes.
I have not.
But I liked that series quite a bit.
I liked what I saw.
But then both of us were big fans of Star Wars Rebels.
Yes, huge Rebels fans. We did a great, I feel like, a really well-received review of the final episode of it. So
a couple episodes, actually.
Last couple episodes. So, I mean, we will put those links in the links below so that you can look at those if you want to.
But now, so on that front, we were big fans of Rebels. Really, in my opinion, I feel like some of those characters are my favorite characters in Star Wars canon.
Yeah, and I feel bad for people who don't watch it because these are really great characters. I feel like everything's been really fleshed out. The Star Wars universe, you get more insight into it. Yeah. And I know, there are several other YouTubers that we watch, and they're like, "Who are these people?" About the Rebels people.
Yeah. Now the through line, the through line between the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, and now into Resistance, is the presence of Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni's been the showrunner and the creative mind behind all these shows, and he has his team of writers and people that work on these, and he tries to keep that same team going from series to series to series. So the good news is, if you liked Clone Wars and then you liked Rebels, you're probably really going to like Resistance. Now, they do change up the look of those things. So I know some people didn't like the way Rebels looked. I never had a problem with it.
No.
But there were some diehard Clone Wars people that didn't care for the way Rebels looked. I liked the way Rebels looked a little better than I liked the way Clone Wars looked. That's just me. It's all just personal opinion. So we'll see what Resistance looks like. I think it's more anime inspired. I think it's got a little more of that style going for it.
I'll watch it whether I like the song or not.
We're Star Wars fans, so we're gonna watch it anyway, and we enjoy time in this universe of characters, and so we know too that Poe Dameron is in this series.
Yeah.
Voiced by Oscar Isaacs. We know that. Nice. Yes, we know that Captain Phasma is in this series and is voiced by Gwendolyn Christie.
Can we just hope for some
character development?
Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't read the hundreds of pages of Cliff Notes to find out all about Captain Phasma, and I'm sure she's super cool.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're big into watching all of the series and all the things connected, but we don't read the books, and mainly just because we don't have time to dig into all those things. I do try to read the blurbs that summarize them so that I know what's going on, but I don't even do that all the time.
I know that there's just whole whole histories for
different people.
For Phasma even, and I
think Phasma has one book.
But she shows up in other things, I think, already.
Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of her built out in this series as it goes. I'm not sure how many episodes there are in this series. We don't do all the research before we watch. We want to give you our honest opinion off of just what we're seeing. So we're going to do that right now. Here we go.
Can you imagine what it's like to be an ace pilot? This is your chance to make that true.
I've got a mission for you.
Yes!
Blend in, find out who's loyal to the good guys and who isn't.
What was that?
What was what?
The throwing and the falling. Over there.
Don't think about it.
You can work on my team,
Get ready to be impressed.
but when it comes to your mission as a spy, I don't want anything to do with it.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
I just wanted to wish my competition good luck.
This is fine. I'm fine.
Just be careful and don't explode.
I'll do my best.
This should be good.
Here we go.
Star Wars Resistance in all new series premieres Sunday, October 7th at 10 on Disney Channel.
Yes!
All right. Oh, it was going to play again, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm interested. So like Rebels, we don't know very many of these characters. We saw Poe Dameron, we saw BB-8, and then we saw what's his name, who blew up in The Last Jedi.
I don't think that was him.
That wasn't him. Okay.
Is it about Saw Gerrera?
Yes.
No.
I was like, I kept thinking Saw Gravy. I couldn't get
Like sawmill gravy.
Sawmill Gravy.
Gotcha.
I had the
So
right.
you're hungry.
Yeah, a little bit.
Gotcha.
But I got the initials right.
And I mean, sawmill gravy is good stuff.
It really is.
He might have been more interesting if we called him that.
So I thought that could have been him.
Gotcha.
So like prior to like attachments and such.
No offense to anybody at Lucasfilm, but I think that's probably because you don't often see people of color in the Star Wars universe. So when you see someone, it's like, is that the same guy?
No,
But,
I mean it's not. I mean it's not.
It wasn't Lando, so it's got to be. Yeah.
Anyway. No. But I mean, yes, that's true. But also, I mean, he was talking about like resistance and that sort of thing. So like, I would feel
so
like
I think he's in on the fact that there's
Yeah.
a spy working for him, but he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be involved. In
right.
that part of it.
So I mean, it was just that sort of context clue.
So I want to say two things here, but and then I'll give you a chance to keep going. But I was struck immediately when this trailer started by the tone of it being much more aimed at younger audiences, which doesn't mean anything. And the reason I say that is because those early trailer things that came out for Rebels made it look like a show I was not going to be interested in at all.
Right.
And even the first episode, where they were setting it all up, is still not my favorite episode. Like, it's still... They were trying to say, oh, here's all the pieces, and here's, fish out of water story, and with Rebels, it was, here's a kid that lost his family, and he's going to find a new family. And it was just the setup of all that. But then as the story grew, it became bigger and broader and more important. I feel like this trailer doesn't give us much to go on. I think it's just like, hey, here's a fun new Star Wars show.
Yeah.
And it's got that vibe because this commercial is airing on the Disney Channel.
So it's gonna want.
So it's aiming for that audience.
It's aiming for that audience, but the airtime says it's not.
Right.
But it's going to be airing Sunday nights at 10. That most children who would be watching this would probably be at least heading to bed, if not already in bed, because that's a school night.
Yeah, but I mean, Disney XD tends to rerun things
They do.
after the fact in
They
other
do.
time periods or
They
whatever.
do.
But yeah, I think that they're aiming for that audience with the promotion because of the channel that they're on. I don't think that means anything as far as content. Now, if we watch the show and it's too kiddie, then I'll eat those words. But I really don't feel like it's going to be. Mainly because Dave Filoni and his team are involved. I think Rebels on the surface, if you watched that first episode, you might have thought you were in for a kiddie Star Wars show. Not that there's anything wrong with that, by the way. I think Forces of Destiny was much more geared toward younger audiences, and that's fine. It didn't interest me, but it was fine. But I don't think that this will be that case.
No.
So
I feel like
that struck me. The second thing that struck me was the animation, which reminds me of the Netflix Voltron series.
Oh.
It's very reminiscent of that
Didn't watch
stylistically
that.
to me. So very anime inspired and yeah.
Yeah, I'm not wowed or bowled over by the animation, but I'm not horribly offended by it either. So, you know, it's just another medium for us to watch Star Wars.
I think
basically.
there's a difference between, you know, the animation, and this was true. This was always kind of true for me. You know, growing up, I would watch that Star Blazers. Space Battleship Yamato was the actual title of it, but it came to the U.S. as Star Blazers. I was a big fan of that show as a kid, and you know, all of the animation for like the big space battles and the ships and all that stuff looked great. Animation on the characters was more cartoony and silly looking and not as cool, but it was because of the type of, you know, a lot of times. You know, it didn't interfere with the story itself. You know, there were some goofy, more childlike characters that were there for comic relief, but it didn't turn the series into some little kid show to me. So I think the animation here on the people looks a little more cartoony and for children, but I mean, look at the image that we're paused on. Looks great.
Yeah, it's the still of whatever that fighter is that's kind of waiting to take off through that sky vent.
Yeah, that animation looks fine.
Yeah, that was.
So
great.
I think it's going to be a mix. You know, you're probably going to see some really cool looking stuff, and then when you're dealing with people, that it may be a little more.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So, anyway, any other thoughts?
No, I mean I'm gonna
There
watch.
wasn't a lot to go on.
No, not a whole lot to go on. I mean, I think what we're probably going to see is a lot of growth for that other character who we don't know his name.
Yeah, and I like that though. I like getting to know people in the Star Wars universe that we didn't know were important, and then finding out that they are.
Yeah.
Or they're important, and I don't mean that like important to the big. You know, like I'm not expecting anybody here to be Rey's dad or mom or anything like that. But as far as like Ezra, you know, and Kanan were important in the scheme of things behind the scenes. We just didn't know their story or know much about them before we got Rebels, and so I think this will be the same. We'll get to know some people that were probably very important and instrumental in the formation of the Resistance. And then, you know, and then as that builds, we'll see how the pieces connect to other things that we know. Anyway, those are our thoughts. You can let us know what you think in the comments below, and if you like this video,
Hit that thumbs up.
and consider subscribing to the channel. We love it when you do that. And if you're already subscribed, hit that bell icon so you can be notified the next time we do one of these. Until the next time we're together, folks.
Bye.
Bye.